Good morning to all of you. Welcome to the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Let us have a look at the words enrichment from vocabulary point of view. Today you're going to learn words like piety, which means highly devotional, dedicated to religion. Frayed means what? Strained. You have got this word already. Scurrying means to hurry, to do something in a hurry. Angst means anxiety. Mitigation, you have got this word many a time. Mitigate means what? To reduce. And the synonyms are SUH, alleviate. Monologue, we all know dialogue, here monologue means only one. Mono, only one person speaking all the time. Another word, shunning. Shun means to avoid. Rhetoric, that's an important word. It goes with public speaking. Galvanizing, exciting or shocking someone to take action. Mind-boggling, it is something like overwhelming. And what are the articles from today's editorial page? Light and sound. We are going to spend time on this, light and sound. The second one, a million and counting. That is about COVID-19 cases. The spectre of a post-COVID-19 world. The main editorial. The word spectre means ghost, one of the meanings. And the last article, only through the prism of science. So only through the prism of science. Science is essential and science is going to provide the solutions. Now today, there is, you see, only one phrasal verb instead of 5. Take off. It's a new pattern. It is based on usage. Only one phrasal verb, 5 examples based on the usage, and you have to find out the one with an error, a new pattern completely, very useful from the exam point of view. And 5 idioms: to go to one's head, ring a bell, leg to stand on, be in the dark, keep one's wits about one. These are the idioms you're going to learn today. Let us go to the editorial page or the editorial. So how does the editorial start? This editorial is, if you ask me, so what is the tone of the editorial? It is rather negative, does not approve something. So how does it start? Light and sound. Light and sound. And it has, what is a backdrop, what is a background? Symbolism has its place, but it must be part of a sustainable action plan. Symbolism, using symbols to convey something, we use the word symbolism, has its place. Every culture, symbolism plays a major role. Symbolism has its place in every society, in every culture. But it must be part, but, contrasting word, but it must be part of a sustainable action plan. Sustainable here means something that can be maintained. Sustainable action plan. What is important here? Action plan. And which action plan is it? Sustainable action plan. Something that can be maintained for a long time. And symbolism has its place, but it must be part of a sustainable action plan. It should not be in isolation. In isolation, not being part of a sustainable action plan, it is of no use. That's what the editorial talks about. And now it provides the background information. Full of sound and piety. Piety, it's an important word. It goes with religion. It means what? Devotion, devoted, devotional. Full of sound and piety, but signifying little. There is one important word here, and this talks about whatever you see in green related to grammar knowledge. Full of sound and piety, but signifying little. Means what? Signifying nothing. The word little without an article has a negative connotation. But signifying little means what? But signifying nothing. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's third and latest address to the nation on the COVID-19 pandemic hardly calmed frayed nerves. Hardly, one more word, grammar point of view, exam point of view. This also has a negative connotation. Hardly calmed means it hasn't calmed at all. Negative connotation. Hardly calmed frayed nerves, already strained and stretched out nerves. You have got this word frayed already. Fray means what? To be strained. Frayed nerves. Anxieties triggered by the pandemic or on the rise. This is also important from the exam point of view. anxieties triggered by the pandemic. Actual expression, anxieties that are triggered by the pandemic, that are triggered, that are understood. Anxieties triggered by the, or that were triggered. It could be present or it could be past. Anxieties that were triggered or triggered by the pandemic are on the rise. What is on the rise or what are on the rise? Anxieties triggered by the pandemic or on the rise. That's an important expression, on the rise. And you got to be careful with the spelling, not raise, rise. On the rise among all sections of society. That is quite obvious. The lockdown enforced on March 24th has brought the economy to a halt. This is in present perfect. The lockdown enforced on March 24th has brought the economy to a halt. The other day you got another word. Halt, what is the other word? Stand still. Has brought the economy to a standstill. Small businesses are bleeding. The word bleed, it means if you get a cut, the blood comes out or oozes out, then we say bleeding. He is bleeding or she is bleeding. But it is an expression which is used to show annoyance, to show anger. And in a way, it is an exclamation. It has a negative connotation. It means to express anger or annoyance. Small businesses are bleeding. But in this context, it means they got affected. They are suffering. Small businesses are bleeding and companies are scurrying to keep their heads above water. If you don't keep your head above water, what will happen? You get drowned. You go down. You get drowned. So here, this sentence talks about small businesses are bleeding. They're not able to survive. They're in a very bad shape and situation. And companies, big companies and companies, are scurrying. Scurry means to do something in a hurry, to go here and there, to go quickly, here and there in a hurry. Scurrying to keep their heads above water. Migrant laborers are stranded and hungry. Already you have got the word stranded. These two sentences they go with parallel expression. Stranded, stretched. Migrant workers are stranded and hungry. Health workers and security personnel are already stretched. Stranded, stretched, parallel expression. The extent of pandemic itself remains uncertain meanwhile. Nobody knows how long it is going to be and how long the negative impact is going to last. It is only natural that 130 crore Indians, the audience that the Prime Minister calls out to, in all his speeches, have a lot angst regarding all this. Now, this editorial, it starts with light and sound, one expression. Then it talks about something that is not acceptable. What is not acceptable here? Symbolism in isolation is not acceptable. If it is part of a sustainable action plan, it is acceptable. It can be justified. Then it talks about the impact of the lockdown. A lot of people got affected. Laborers, migrant laborers got affected. Small businesses got affected. Companies got affected. And anxieties have been triggered by the pandemic and they are on the rise. Everything negative, the negative impact of the lockdown and the pandemic as well. Now, it is quite natural. Here the editorial says, it is only natural that 130 crore Indians, the audience that the Prime Minister calls out to in all his speeches, have a lot of angst regarding all this. People have a lot of anxiety. Everyone has anxiety. Everyone is worried, not only about the present, but also about the future. Present, they're worried. Future, a bigger problem. Nobody knows. So much uncertainty is there. After the lockdown, how is it going to be? What is going to happen? How to survive? How to go back onto the regular stream of life? How to be part of the mainstream? All these questions, a lot of apprehensions. So anxiety regarding all these things. They did expect, this is a very good expression. They expected one expression. They did expect. They expected, easy to understand, it is in past. They did expect, this is also in past. Then if you ask me, so what is the difference between they expected, they did expect? We use this expression to emphasize. If I ask you guys, do you like English? Casually you may say, yes, I like English. But you want to emphasize, then what are you supposed to say? Yes, I do like English. I do like English. Present, emphatic. And past, did you do that work? Yes, I did that work. Casual. Did you expect something? Yes, I expected something. Casual. Yes, I did expect something. Emphatic. They did expect a reassuring action plan. What people expected, the editorial talks about that. They did expect a reassuring action plan from the Prime Minister and a clear picture of the challenge ahead. Now, everyone is worried about the challenge ahead. What is it? What is going to happen after the lockdown? How is it going to be? All these apprehensions. So, this sentence talks about what the people expected. They did expect a reassuring action plan, some sort of action plan, sustainable action plan from the Prime Minister, and a clear picture of the challenge ahead. What is the challenge ahead we have? Excuse me. They expected, now the editorial talks about the expectations. They expected some clarity on the post-lockdown course for the country. This is the most important thing at this juncture. They expected some clarity on the post-lockdown course for the country. They hoped for more mitigation measures. This is an important word. You have got many a time. Mitigate means what? To reduce something bad, to reduce or to make something less severe, mitigate. They hoped for mitigation measures beyond those announced by the Finance Minister and the Reserve Bank of India Governor, chief executives of many democracies. The editorial provides what is happening in other parts of the world. Chief executives of many democracies have personally addressed, this is in present perfect tense, the people with detailed and material plans of action since the outbreak. The editorial emphasizes what is required at this juncture, an action plan, sustainable action plan. To substantiate that statement, there is one sentence here. It provides one example. Chief executives of many democracies have personally addressed the people with detailed and material plans of action since the outbreak. They have also kept the interaction alive. This also talks about, at the outset, the editorial uses one particular expression, monologue. I think at a later stage, I'm not quite sure. It is here, monologue. Here, it talks about they have also kept, this is in present perfect, they have also kept the interaction alive. Here, interaction means what? Interacting with people, and two-way. Interaction always two-way, from the president and the public, or the prime minister and the public. The political leadership and the public. The political leadership at the center has largely remained aloof, has largely remained, again present perfect tense. Aloof, that's an important word. Aloof means what? Isolated. No interaction, isolated. And Mr. Modi himself continues with his monologues, shunning all questions. Mono means what? One. Monologue, only one person talking all the time. Dialogue means two persons. So this talks about accusing. Mr. Modi himself continues with his monologues, shunning all questions, avoiding all questions. When there's no dialogue, obviously no questions, you cannot answer the questions. Monologue, we have to listen, we cannot interact. That's what it talks about. Now there's one important word here. Rhetoric to rally the nation in a moment of crisis can actually do good. Rhetoric goes with public speaking. It also goes with oratory. And oratory, it means public speeches, public speaking. Saying something repeatedly. In this context, it means saying something repeatedly in public speeches, especially. Rhetoric to rally the nation, to take the nation in the right direction, and to make sure that the nation recovers. To rally the nation in a moment of crisis can actually do good. The editorial says rhetoric is good at this juncture, but unifying and galvanizing, this is again parallel expression. Unifying, galvanizing, the country is very critical in combating the pandemic. Why rhetoric is important? We have to unify and galvanize the country. Unifying, an easy word to understand. Galvanize, I think you have got this word already. To shock or excite someone to take action. The country is very critical in combating the pandemic. Combat, you have got this word, fight. To the extent that it sought to achieve those goals, the Prime Minister's message was purposeful. To that extent that it sought to achieve those goals, the Prime Minister's message was purposeful. There was a purpose. But gong and cymbals that drown out substantive conversations can be counterproductive. Can be counterproductive. Again, can helping verb. And here gong and cymbals, music-related instruments, musical instruments, I'll show the meaning later, but gong and cymbals that drown out. Drown means to go down. If someone doesn't know how to swim, he jumps into a pool, then he gets drowned. He goes down. So drowned out, substantive, substantially means what? Considerably. Conversations can be counterproductive. Productive, something that is positive. You do something expecting a positive result, but instead of getting a positive result, you get a negative result. Then what do we say? It has been counterproductive. There's another word for that, boomerang. It has boomeranged. Means what? It has been counterproductive. If the pandemic itself was not mind-boggling enough, mind-boggling, overwhelming, making a tremendous impact, if the pandemic itself was not mind-boggling enough, now the country has a unique puzzle to resolve. Has a unique puzzle to resolve. It is in present perfect tense. It is in present tense. It has something. It has what? A unique puzzle to resolve. He has a car. He has a building. I have something. Present tense, it talks about possession. Country has a unique. There's one more thing you have to focus on. Unique. This word, unique means what? Something that is different. Only one of its kind. And what is the first letter here? U. That is a vowel letter. But here you see the indefinite article a. What is the reason? Though it begins with a vowel letter, it has a consonantal sound. So we don't use an, we use a. That is important from the exam point of view. It has what? A unique puzzle to resolve. It has a unique puzzle to resolve, which is about the 9-minute light ceremony at 9 p.m. on Sunday, April 5th, that the Prime Minister has called for. He has called for. The Prime Minister has called for. So what is this puzzle to resolve? Unsurprisingly, an industry has instantly sprung up. This is again in present perfect. Has instantly. This is an adverb. Spring. What is the past participle? Sprung. Has sprung up online, interpreting the choice of number 9. Why at 9 p.m. on Sunday? As a stroke of celestial genius, forcing the press. Now, all sorts of stories, all sorts of rumors based on that 9 p.m., the time slot. Based on these rumors, forcing, the press has been forcing the Press Information Bureau to issue a clarification. What is that clarification? Don't fall for the rumors. Remember this expression. Don't fall for the rumors means what? Usually we say he fell in love. But here he fell for the rumor means what? He believed. Don't fall for the rumors means what? Don't believe the rumors and unscientific reasoning on the appeal for lighting diya. It said, the Prime Minister himself has repeatedly asked people to stay away from rumors and misinformation about the pandemic and rely only on trusted media platforms. Obviously, anyone will say the same thing. Don't fall for the rumors. Mr. Modi has a formidable following. Formidable, intimidating, frightening. It invokes respect. Invoking respect. Formidable means what? Something like formidable opponent, formidable enemy. Threatening, frightening, intimidating. Also, inducing a sort of respect. Formidable following among the Indian public, and his words carry weight. Look at this expression. His words carry weight. People listen to him. His words carry weight. But no country can talk its way out of a pandemic and an economic collapse. But no country can talk its way out of a pandemic and an economic collapse. Mere words, mere talk cannot change the situation, does not provide a solution. That's what it talks about. If words are all one has, The virus is not going to be kind. No action, only words. The virus is not going to be kind. This is also a good expression. The previous one, but no country can talk its way out of a pandemic and an economic collapse. Means what? Mere talk cannot provide a solution. If words are all one has, the virus is not going to be kind. Means what? You depend on words, not on action, then the impact, the virus is going to make a devastating impact. It is not going to be kind, nor, here not going to be kind, a negative expression based on that continuity of line of thought, nor another negative word. Is an economy going to stop? This is very important. Here, there is one rule in English. What is it? Exam point of view, very important. If you start a sentence with a negative expression, the clause after that should be in interrogative form. Economy is, that is a regular pattern. Is an economy going to stop? Economy is going to stop. An economy is going to stop, affirmative. But here the sentence begins with a negative expression, then it should be used in interrogative. Nor, is an economy going to stop its free fall at the sight of candles? Does it, at the sight of candles, do things change? I don't think so. That's what the editorial says. Nor is an economy going to stop its free fall at the sight of candles. Symbolism is infused with meaning only through corresponding action. The editorial ends on what is important, what is relevant, and what has to be done. One sentence, what is it? Mere symbolism is of no use. It starts with the same thing. We have to, it should be part of, it should be incorporated in a sustainable action plan. The same idea has been reiterated in the last sentence. What is it? Symbolism is infused with meaning only through corresponding action. Infuse means fill. Symbolism is filled with meaning only through corresponding action. Here what is important? Action is important. So an interesting editorial, rather criticizing, saying that words alone will not provide a solution. Action is more important. Symbolism has its place. Every society, every culture, symbolism, one has to depend on symbolism. One has to depend on rhetoric to unite the people of a particular country, especially at the time of crisis. But mere symbolism is of no use. It should be part of, an integral part of, a sustainable action plan. An interesting and useful editorial. Have a look at the words effective vocabulary. Symbolism means what? Use of symbols to represent ideas. Every culture resorts to symbolism. Symbolic expressions means what? Use of symbols to represent ideas. Sustainable. You have got this word many a time. To hold something for a long time. Able to be maintained. Sustainable action plan. Another meaning of sustainable practices means what? Using the resources wisely, thinking of future generations. Sustainable practices, an important word. Piety goes with religion, devotion, devotional. Again, important word in this context. Prayed. You have got this word many a time. Means what? Great strain. Frayed nerves means already a lot of people, all the sections of the society, Indian society, have been strained. They are under tremendous pressure. Frayed means what? Great strain. Scurrying means what? Hurrying, going here and there quickly. Angst, a new word, a formal word. Scurrying, also an important word. Anxiety. Angst means what? Anxiety. Mitigation, you have got this many a time. Reducing, mitigate, reduce. Usually something that is bad. Aloof, distant or isolated. Don't remain aloof means what? Don't remain isolated. Bleeding, used for emphasis. Annoyance, you are not happy, you are very angry, annoyed, then we can use the word bleeding. But what is the typical meaning of the word bleed? The blood comes out of a person's body, then we say the person is bleeding. Blood oozing out of a person's body, bleeding. Shunning, shun. Don't shun something. Means what? Don't avoid something. An important word. Bleeding goes with everyday English. Aloof and mitigation, important words. Rhetoric. Rhetoric goes with oratory. It goes with public speaking. It also goes with politicians. They say the same thing repeatedly. Whenever they go for a meeting, whenever they give a public speech, they have certain expressions. Those expressions, standard expressions, they use regularly. That is known as rhetoric, power of speech. They use that to influence people, to make a tremendous impact on people. Galvanizing. You have got this word already. Galvanize means what? Shock or excite someone to take action. Shocking or exciting someone to take action. That you have to remember. Gong and cymbals. A metal disc or musical instrument with a turned rim, giving a resonant note when struck. Purely a musical instrument. Mind-boggling, overwhelming, startling. Startle means one of the meanings surprise. Important word. Formidable, powerful, intimidating, frightening, threatening, and also inspiring respect, invoking respect. All those words you have to think of. What is the word of the day? Mitigate. Mitigate is a verb. What is the meaning of that? Make something bad less severe, serious, or less painful. Word forms to mitigate, basic form or infinitive, mitigate present, mitigated past participle, mitigating present participle. Word combinations: mitigate pain, mitigate hardships, mitigate worries. Synonyms are very important. Alleviate. Quite often you get in competitive exams these words: alleviate, assuage, attenuate, diminish and reduce. Easy words, but you have to remember, you can't afford to forget. Alleviate, assuage, attenuate. Example: it is unclear how to mitigate the effects of tourism on this island. Not effects of tourism industry on this island. Nowadays we talk about ecotourism. And ecotourism, it talks about something related to environment. But unfortunately today, because of ecotourism, pristine islands, pristine resorts, hill stations, they're getting spoiled. It has its own negative dimensions. The next one. What is the next one? This is over. What to recollect? Full of sound and piety, but signifying little. This is an important expression. But signifying nothing, a negative. Full of sound and piety, positive, but contrasting word, signifying nothing. Little here means what? Nothing. It has hardly calmed the frayed nerves. There are two words you have to recollect here. One is hard. Hard could be an adjective. Hard could be an adverb. First example, it is a hard nut. He is a hard worker. Here it is an adjective. He is a hard worker. Another example, he works hard. Then it is an adverb. But here the word is hardly. Means it has a negative connotation. He hardly works means what? He doesn't work at all. It has hardly calmed the frayed nerves, strained nerves. Negative expression with the word hardly. Remember, important from the exam point of view. Anxieties triggered. Anxieties that were triggered by the pandemic are on the rise. Remember this expression, on the rise. Prices are on the rise. Wages are on the rise. Problems are on the rise. Anxieties are on the rise. So not raise, rise. When you see this word, you have to recollect the related words, confusing verbs. Rise, raise. Rise is what? Rise, rose, risen. It is an intransitive verb and irregular verb. Raise, raised, raised. A regular verb and a transitive verb. You can't afford to forget at any cost. The lockdown has brought the economy to a halt, to a standstill. What is a better word? Standstill, halt. The lockdown has brought the economy to a halt, to a standstill. Present perfect tense. They did expect emphatic. They expected casual. They did expect a reassuring action plan, something that assures or gives confidence, reassuring action plan. This also you have to remember. And which tense is that? Past tense. Country has a unique puzzle to resolve. Again, something important from the exam point of view, grammar point of view, articles point of view. Unique. If you're not aware of that rule, a word that begins with a consonantal letter or a consonantal sound. Sound is important. We have to use the indefinite article a. Though it is a vowel letter, it has a consonantal sound. So you cannot say an unique, you have to say a unique puzzle. It is important that way. The PM has called for and asked for something, called for something, has instantly sprung up. Springs sprung, here has sprung up, past participle. Spring, sprang, sprung. So certain verbs trouble you, especially past participle form. Those you have to spend a few minutes, and you should be damn sure about the three forms. And which tense is this? Present perfect tense. His words carry weight. You cannot take literally. Here, what is the meaning of this expression? His words carry weight means people respect his words. They mean something, and people respect his words. His words carry weight. They mean something worth listening to. No country can talk its way out of a pandemic. This is also a very good expression. What does it mean? Simply by using words, using a pep talk, you cannot solve the problems. You cannot solve the problem of a pandemic. Practically impossible. No country can talk its way out of a pandemic. Not possible. Not going to be kind, negative expression. And next sentence, here it is, please excuse me. I have to make an important call, please excuse me. I hope it is streaming. It is related to streaming of the video. I hope there are no issues. Let me check. Is there any problem with streaming? Please say yes or no. I don't think there's any problem. I would like to continue. I want one of you to respond. Is everything all right? Audio, video, no issues at all? I got a call from our IT head. Looks like usually he doesn't call at this time. Fine, then it's okay. All okay, wonderful. Thank you very much. Thanks for the response. So I was talking about not going to be kind, nor is an economy going to stop its free fall. Thank you very much. So many students have responded. I would like to thank all of them. Here, not going to be kind, negative, nor another negative expression. What is important here, please remember this. When we begin a sentence with a negative expression, then the clause should be in interrogative form, not in affirmative form. That is important from the exam point of view. Very important. What are the questions? Reading comprehension skill. What is this editorial about? A typical question as usual. What is the tone of the editorial? Rather criticizing, rather negative. Not approving the Prime Minister's stand. Not at all. Completely against. What is the tone of the editorial? Rather negative. Criticizing. What did Indians expect from the Prime Minister in these times of distress? Is rhetoric good to rally the nation in a moment of crisis? What is symbolism? These are some of the questions. Now it is time to work on your language proficiency. That's good. Thanks for updating. Have a look at the words. First you think of the part of speech, then you think of the meaning. Now it is time to respond. I am not the right person to answer that, Jyoti, regarding merger and regarding the number of upcoming bank jobs. I am not the right person. And at this stage, I don't think anyone can answer that question. Too early to answer that question. You have to wait with your fingers crossed. Please focus on the exercise. Piety, one adjective. Piety, devotion. Piety, not adjective, noun. Okay, that's a good thing. What is the meaning? G. Devotion is the answer. One noun, G. Perfect. Go to the next one. Prayed. You see here ed. Obviously, it is what? Verb. It could be, I'll write, frayed nerves means what? Adjective. What is the meaning of pray or prayed? Part of speech, verb, and also adjective. Second one, please go to the second one. D. What is D here? Great strain. That is right, absolutely right. Strained. Great strain. Go to the third one, scurrying. Scurry, a verb, scurrying, present participle. It could also be adjective. I am writing the possibilities. Scurrying companies, then obviously it has to be. It is an adjective. But usually the word scurry is what? A verb. Scurried, it's a regular verb. Part of speech, it could be a verb, it is a verb, it could be an adjective. And what is the answer? B, absolutely right. What is it? Hurrying. Please go to the next one. Now I can't read out the names. A lot of students have been responding so fast. It's so difficult to have a look at the names and read out the names. That's a good sign, positive development. The fourth one, please go to the fourth one. After this, I will ask only one question, who has got all the 10 correct. That time, I'll read out the names. Fourth one, angst, anxiety, part of speech, noun. What is the meaning? J is the answer. Angst means what? Anxiety. Not a regular word. A regular word, anxiety, anxious. But this goes with effective English. That is the reason why they have used in the editorial. Mitigation, an important word from bank exams point of view. Quite often you come across this word. Mitigate, verb, and mitigation, noun form. Mitigated could be an adjective. What is the meaning of that? Answer is, fourth one is over, fifth one. I want you guys to respond to the fifth one. Yes, that is reducing. Mitigate means what? Reduce, alleviate, SUH. Those words you have to recollect. Monologue, this is rather easy to make out. Mono means what? One. And one more tip I would like to give. Whenever you come across a prefix, think of related words. Monotonous. Monotonous means same work repeatedly. It also conveys the idea something is boring. Boring, what is a better word? Monotonous. Monotonous work, collocation or combination. Monologue. Monopoly. Monopoly goes with the business. Only one particular company dominates the market, then what is the word we use? Monopoly. Monopolistic practices. Monopolistic practices are not acceptable. They are not part of modern economies. In the past, they were part of economies, but modern economies, we don't come across monopolistic trade practices. So try to recollect all the words related to that begin with the prefix mono, which means one. What is the answer? E is the answer. Monologue, singular, monologues, plural. It has to be a noun, and answer is E. Oh, you guys have gone to the seventh one. What is shunning? Shun. It's a regular verb. Shun, shunned, shunned. Verb, and it could be, obviously. Any verb can be used as a noun, as an adjective. I'll write noun also. Now it is time to think of other forms. Shun means what? Answer is A, avoiding. What is the next one? Rhetoric. That's an important word. Goes with formal English. Eighth one, rhetoric. Noun. The rhetoric. Seventh one, A, that is over. Please go to the eighth one. Rhetoric is not a verb, it's a noun. What is the answer? Power of speech. Answer is power of speech. What is a Next one, galvanizing. 9H, that's right. Galvanize verb. Galvanizing could be an adjective. It could be a noun. Shocking or exciting, to take action. That is a complete form. Because of space constraint, I could not give the complete meaning. Do remember, exciting, to take action. Shock someone, to take action. In a way, provoke, incite. And what is the last one? Mind-boggling. Mind-boggling, adjective. Mind-boggling, mind-blowing, impact. What is the word? Overwhelming. Now the million-dollar question. Now I will change the question. Who has got the parts of speech correct and the meanings correct? Both parts of speech and the meaning. All the 10 correct. That is highly appreciable then. Both parts of speech and meanings. Has anyone got all the 10 correct? You guys are still answering the 10th one. Please answer that question. Parts of speech, both parts of speech and, oh, that's wonderful. Thanks for updating, Divya. Please, I haven't seen no one at 10. Who is this? Both, remember, parts of speech and Nagamani has got parts of speech and meanings. And Venki also. That is good enough. 9 also good enough. Good, I appreciate. You should be very happy. Now let us move on. Errors. Not that difficult, but important. Remember, important, not very difficult. Lengthy sentences, that way not easy. You have to read quickly, meticulously, and spot. First one, already one student has responded. And, oh, thank you very much, Mitra, for that. You're telling others to share. I appreciate. A lot of students have been saying, they have been appreciating. I would like to thank all those students, all those who have been watching, and those who have been appreciating. Thanks a lot. The number of COVID, already a few students have responded. Who is this? 10. Okay. Here, a typical question. Raise is not correct. What is it? Rise. Continue to rise, not raise. Already I have told you, rise, rose, risen, intransitive and irregular. Raise, transitive and irregular. We cannot use the word raise here, rise in the country. The number of COVID-19 cases continue to rise. Basic form or infinitive. Important, rather easy. Read the next one. A bit difficult. Contextual awareness is required. Yes, first one it is arise. Go to the second one. Not easy. I will give you some time. You have to read the sentence. Oh, wonderful. One girl has got this, one student has got this. Would take. Manasa has got it. Would. Here the context talks about past. Mr. Modi made, verb in past, made it very clear that the coronavirus threat could, helping verb in past, only be combated with the full cooperation of the people, and the collective strength was, again past verb, was what? Will take. Here we cannot use will. It should be, would take the country out of what he termed darkness that engulfs us in the form of coronavirus. Engulf means what? To surround completely. Usually it goes with fire. The fire engulfed the building means what? It covered the entire building. So here, this is based on contextual awareness. Context talks about past, so and also reported speech, made it very clear. Then you cannot use a verb, the helping verb, in the word will, it should be would. That is important. Sentence number 3. This is rather easy but important. This goes with redundancy, the third one. Yes, would is correct. We have done with that. Yes, here, in many districts, migrants who returned back, you should not read beyond that. You got to be smart when you read sentences. The moment you spot the error, don't get tempted to read the complete sentence. If the instructions say multiple errors, then you have to read. Only one error, you know for sure. A return means to come back. Then you should not use the word back. Where is the error? Back is not correct. Returned home. Returned back home is not correct. This has been given in many exams. Important but easy. Go to the fourth one. Returned back is not correct, only returned. This is also rather easy but important. Oh, it has crossed 150. Thank you, Smart Puna, for updating. The number is going up. India need its top leader. Where is the error? 1 second, you should be able to. This one. Sentence number 4. How come this long? That's right. Now I see a lot of students. India need is not correct. India needs. What is the subject here? India, third person singular. And the sentence is in present tense. Then we should add present tense affirmative. Then we should add S or ES to the verb. And what is the verb here? Need. India needs its top leader to make people realize why science has no substitute. Science has no substitute in the battle against COVID-19. Science is the only thing that can save the mankind. It is not religion, it is not culture, it is not the hope, it is not the apprehensions, nothing. What is the last one? Give me a minute. Go on, work on the last sentence. Sentence number 5, where is the error? Prime Minister Narendra Modi's call for switching off electric lights at homes across the nation for 9 minutes at 9 p.m. on April 5th as a mark of demonstrating a collective will to fight the COVID-19 pandemic has prompted energy authorities to... Then you have to read the sentence, a lengthy sentence. Here you have the error. To swung is not correct. To swing. What is wrong with this word? It is not swung, swing, swung, swung. Past is swung, past participle also swung. To swing. Here it is basic form or infinitive. To swing. That is the correct form. Has anyone got all the 5 correct? Now today you have got a lot of confusing words. All these are familiar, but if you have a look, you don't lose anything. It will reinforce, consolidate your knowledge. I will ask the question, you try to respond. What is the difference between noise and sound? Noise and sound, what is the difference? Transitive verb means a verb that can take an object. I wrote a book last year. Means what? I wrote what? A book. There's an object. Any verb that takes an object is called a transitive verb. What is an intransitive verb? A verb that cannot take an object. She went to the party last night. Here she went where? She went to Bombay last year. She went where? Bombay. Here there is no object. Any verb that cannot take. She fell in the park yesterday. Where did she fall? In the park. No object, then it is called intransitive. Noise, irritating, sound, pleasant. Who is this? Aman. Okay. Loud noise, but here sound, not exactly pleasant, unpleasant. Unnecessary sound is called noise. Obviously, sound is not something negative. Sound doesn't have a negative connotation. Noise, it has a negative connotation. Not exactly. Now what is the next pair? Sound not negative, noise negative. Unnecessary sound is called noise. Hard, hardly. I have already told. In the last question after will, should we use to? What is the last question? Will to fight. That's a very good question. Guys, please listen to me. One student asked a question. Do we have to use to after will? Here, will is not the helping verb. I will read this sentence, or I will read from here. This is something very important. It's a very good question. I don't know who asked that question, but I appreciate. As a mark of demonstrating a collective will to fight. Here, will, the word is not used as a helping verb. Will here means the power, the determination. What is the other word? There is a saying in English. What is it? Where there is a will, there is a way. Where there is a will, there is a way. Means what? If you are really serious about something, you will find a way. A collective will, a collective determination. Here, collective is an adjective, will is a noun. It is not a helping verb. What is will? It is a noun. So here, will means what? Determination, power. That's a very good question. Then you can use to fight. The power to fight, the determination to fight. Absolutely no problem. Will to fight. I appreciate that student. Now, what is the difference between hard and hardly? Hard could be an adjective, could be an adverb, and hardly a negative word. It means nothing, almost nothing. He hardly works, means what? He doesn't work at all. He's a hard worker, adjective. He works hard, adverb. Euphemism and euphuism. Euphuism goes with oratory, rhetoric. Rhetoric. And euphemism, that's an important word. Means what? Something is harsh to say. And because it is harsh, you don't want to say that, but you want to convey the same idea. You use a better word. Euphemism means an expression that is used in place of a harsh expression. For example, if I say, he died, it sounds very harsh. Better euphemism, an expression that goes with euphemism, he passed away. He passed away doesn't sound harsh. That is what we call euphemism. And the other word, euphuism, careful with spelling, it means rhetoric, it goes with oratory, it goes with public speaking. The next one, between, among. Between two persons or two things, among more than two. But remember, when we talk about, when we think of between, people have a fixed idea. What is that? They have a fixed idea that between goes with two persons or two things. But do remember, we can use between for more than two. When does it happen? When can you do that? If you are trying to differentiate similar things, then more than two also you can use between. For example, she could not decide between the Harvard University, the Cambridge University, and the Princeton University. I have mentioned three universities, the Harvard University, the Cambridge University, the Princeton University, three, but I have used between, the preposition. It is right. What is the reason? They're all similar things. When you try to differentiate similar things, I repeat, then more than two, you can use the word between. That is very important. But fixed idea, between two persons, more than two, among. What is the difference between among and amongst? That is an important one. Yes, that's right. Who is this? Monica has got it right. Here, among, amongst, both we use when we talk about persons or things more than two. But the word after the preposition begins with a vowel letter or a vowel sound, then we should use amongst, not among. I repeat, any word that begins with a vowel letter or a vowel sound, we should use amongst, not among. And amongst is a literary word, literary expression. It goes with written English. Little, a little. And one more is the little. What is the next one? The little. The same way, few, a few, the few. Little, hardly anything, negative connotation. A little, at least some. The little, specific or whatever is there. Same thing goes with few, almost nothing, hardly anything. And thank you very much, Aman. Thank you very much. I will try to live up to your expectations. That is rather overwhelming. A few, at least some, the few, specific or whatever is there. And these two are very important. All are important. This is not that important. Hard and hardly important from the exam point of view. This is not important. This is not important. Only from learning point of view, this is important. This is important. But exam point of view, you can't afford to forget. You have to remember. Important, among and amongst, again, important, little and a little, the little, few, a few, the few, very important. They have given in so many exams, so many times. You can't afford to forget. Now, close test. We are running out of time. It's already 9:55, 8:55. Have a look at this close test. Context, post-COVID-19 world. Should not be difficult. Try to get a few, at least some. That's right. Please have a look. As COVID-19 spreads, ask the question, spread, how does it spread? Then you have to use an adverb. Then how many adverbs are there? That is the answer, only one. One is what? 5, absolutely. Try to use your grammar knowledge. Try to look at the context. Use contextual awareness. As COVID-19 spreads exponentially, rapidly, unimaginable pace, we use the word exponential growth. Exponential growth, a typical combination. 1, 5, that is right. Across the world, and the figures of those testing positive, as also the numbers of deaths, keep increasing in near geometrical progression. Second one and third one, a bit difficult. If you get the second one, you can get the third one. Should not be exponentially perfect. Please go to the second blank. In fact, the second blank, the word is a good word. Usually it goes with knowledge, not in this context. Volatility is not right. 2, 1 is not correct. Think of, you're almost there. I said 2 words are rather confusing. Second one should be profound. Profound uncertainty. So what is the number? Profound uncertainty and extreme volatility. So that is, profound means deep. It goes with knowledge. Profound knowledge, deep knowledge. Volatile, changing quickly, not stable. So 2, the second blank, it is 4, profound. And the third blank, it is the third one, volatility. Wreaking, not wreaking, wreck. Wreck means what? Cause. You got this the other day. Wreak havoc means cause severe damage. Obviously, you have to remember the combination. Wreak havoc. I think you got it yesterday or day before yesterday. Wreak havoc. So what is the word here? Second one. What is the last one you're left with? I will read the sentence. Where does it start? All this. As COVID-19 spreads exponentially across the world, and the figures of those testing positive, as also the numbers of deaths, keep increasing in near geometrical progression. And what is the next one? Profound uncertainty and extreme volatility are wreaking havoc of a kind seldom encountered. What is the answer? Seldom encountered. Rarely. Shipwreck, that's a different word. The spelling of that is W-R-E-C-K, wreck, wreckage. That's a separate, different word. This is a different word. What is the last one? Seldom encountered previously, rarely encountered. Has anyone got all the 5 correct? All the 5? That's wonderful. This name sounds a little strange to me. Badugu. Please go to the next exercise quickly, para jumble. It's already 8:59. Vijender also got all the 5 correct. That's very good. Please go to the next one. Seldom means rarely, not often, rarely. Negative word, yes, seldom, rare, rarely, very rarely. This is a bit difficult. 2 sentences go with one idea and 3 sentences go with one idea. But which one first? If you get it right, then you get the correct order. But first one, if you skip, you go off the track, then it's gone. First one is B. That's very good. What is the first one here? B. I'll write here. The first week of the nationwide lockdown, after that, rather easy. Affect is a verb. A-F-F-E-C-T, it is a verb. It's a regular verb. Affect, affected, affected. Effect, it could be a verb, it could be a noun. But usage point of view, we don't use it as a verb, we use it as a noun. Effect, effects, plural form. Please go to the second one. D is the second one. Very good. This is second. B, D. The first week of the nationwide lockdown, which has left many facing job losses, uncertainty over salaries, forced isolation, and stressed households. What is the third one? No, second is D. What is the third one? Third one is C. Has resulted in a steep rise in violence against women. No. Third one is C. Here, the first week of the nationwide lockdown, which has left many facing job losses, uncertainty over salaries, forced isolation, and stressed households. What is the subject here? The nationwide, first week of the nationwide lockdown, the first week has resulted in a steep rise in violence against women. These 3 go with one idea, B, D, C. The next one is what? A is the next one. The National Commission for Women, which receives complaints from across the country, has recorded. Commission has recorded. See, the clue for you. The National Commission has recorded. They are related. Then what is the last one? The National Commission for Women, which receives complaints from across the country, has recorded more than a 2-fold rise in gender-based violence. Has anyone got this right? I will appreciate. That is, it is not easy. What is the correct order? B, D, C, one idea, A, E, one idea. Word map, rhetoric, goes with public speaking. Power of speech, bombast, that is also a good word. And magniloquence, a good word. Pomposity, a good word. Good in the sense important. Fustian, important. Euphemism, important. And how many words are important? Power of speech, rather easy. You have to remember 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All the 6 are important. But the most important here, that is right. That's good. I appreciate those who have got all the 5 correct. Rhetoric, an important word. This you can't afford to forget. Pomposity is also important, and bombasting, that is also an important word. Now, this is a new pattern, a new exercise. From the exam point of view, it is relevant. Nowadays, of late, they have been giving questions based on usage. CAT model. What is this? CAT, Common Admission Test for IIMs, CAT model. They usually give a word, but I have taken a phrasal verb with many meanings, a lot of examples, and one of them is not correct. Please listen to the instructions first. Here you see only one phrasal verb. What is a phrasal verb? Take off. This phrasal verb has 5 different meanings. Based on those meanings, I have given 5 examples. One of these is not correct. Out of 5, 4 are correct, 1 is incorrect. Which one is not correct? You have to find out. Usually this pattern goes with, new pattern goes with words, but I have used appraisal verb, a bit challenging. No, here your job is to tell me which A, B, C, D, E, which sentence is not correct, where it is not used properly. The expression take off, the appraisal verb take off, in which sentence it hasn't been used correctly. D is not the answer, nothing wrong with D. Sales of our new product have really taken off, nothing wrong with that. A, nothing wrong with that. Where is this leaving? No one has got it right so far. E, yes, Lavanya has got it right. This one, there is an error. The plane took off in the afternoon, nothing wrong with that. I told him to take off his shoes, nothing wrong with that. She saw me coming and took off in the other direction, nothing wrong with that. Sales of a new product have really taken off, nothing wrong with that. She felt sick, so she took off a couple of days' work, not correct. She took a couple of days off work, off should be here. She felt sick, so she took a couple of days off work. Off should be before work. Now have a look at the next slide. To leave the ground, what is the meaning of took off here? The plane took off in the afternoon. Means what? Leave the ground and begin to fly. I told him to take off his shoes. Means what? To remove clothing and things. She saw me coming and took off in the other direction to leave a place quickly. Sales of our new product have really taken off to become popular or successful. To not work for a period of time. She felt sick, so she took off. Here, off should not be here. She took a couple of days off work. Not work for a period of time. A new exercise. Thank you very much, Meenakshi. I'm happy to know that. That's what we want, in fact. We want you guys to enrich your knowledge, become good at English. That is the reason why I have been doing this. When I see something like this, it makes me very happy. Please have a look at these idioms, the last exercise for today. It's already 7 past 9. Please have a look. Fame and fortune has gone to his head. This is an example. You have to find out the meaning. A new pattern again. Oh, thank you very much, Manasa. I appreciate that. Mains point of view, that's right. That's the reason why I have brought. Mains point of view, very useful. Fame and fortune has gone to his head. Gone to his head. That is a idiomatic expression. What is the meaning of that? Answer is the third one. To cause one to become arrogant. What is the answer here? Third option is the answer. 1-3. Yes, that's right, Divya. She managed to keep her wits about her and escaped unharmed. She managed to keep her wits about her. Second one is a bit difficult. Second one, the third one is correct. What is the second one? We are running out of time. We have already run out of time. Here, the second one, it is think quickly and make sensible decisions. Think quickly and make sensible decisions. Answer is the first one. I'm still very much in the dark about how the money was lost. I'll do it very fast. I'm still very much in the dark. And here, keep one's wits about one. And answer here, not knowing about something. Second one. If you have no witness, you don't have a leg to stand on. A leg to stand on means what? Not in a position to prove that you're right. Answer is the fifth one. And the name rings a bell. Something rings a bell means what? Sound familiar. Answer is the fourth one. What you say rings a bell means what? What you say sounds familiar. So there's no time. It's already 9 past 9. Have a look, spend some time. Enrichment from today's editorial and the newspaper. And one new pattern, one phrasal verb, 5 meanings, 5 examples. One is not correct, quite challenging, useful from the exam point of view. And 5 idioms to go to one's head, to become arrogant, ring a bell, sound familiar, leg to stand on, to have evidence to support. And what is the next one? Be in the dark, not knowing about something. Keep one's wits about one, means to think quickly and be wise, think wisely. That's all from today's session. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Have a nice weekend. I will see you on Monday with a new editorial to enrich your language proficiency. Thank you very much.